Chapter 1. The Curse of Gold. In the shadowed halls of the ancient world, where the roots of the mighty Yggdrasil took hold, there was whispered a tale of greed and ruin, a legend that wound its way through the sagas of men and gods alike. This was the tale of Fafnir, once a dwarf, whose heart was ensnared by the gleam of cursed gold. Fafnir was born among the stout and sturdy folk of the dwarves, deep within the bowels of the earth, where precious gems and metals were as common as the stones and dirt of the surface world. He was the son of the dwarf king Hridmar, and with his brothers, Otter and Regan, he lived a life of craftsmanship and toil, forging wonders that were coveted by all. But the dwarf's skill was a double-edged sword, for it brought them not only pride and sustenance, but also the envy and avarice of others. It was the god Loki, ever the trickster and schemer, who set the tragedy in motion. In a careless moment, or perhaps a malicious one, Loki slew Otter, who had taken the form of an otter. To atone for the deed and avoid the wrath of Hridmar, Loki was tasked with filling the otter's skin with gold and covering it with treasures. Loki fulfilled this grim ransom with gold from the cursed hoard of Andvari, a treasure that the dwarf Andvari had hoarded and cherished above all else. Among this gold was a ring, Andvarinat, which Andvari cursed with his dying breath, proclaiming that it would be the bane of all who possessed it. The gold brought no joy to Hridmar and his remaining sons. It was not long before the curse took root in their hearts. Fafnir, whose ambition and strength outstripped even those of his kin, was consumed by a lust for the treasure. His thoughts twisted and darkened until he could conceive of only one course of action that would satisfy his greed. He murdered his own father to claim the hoard for himself. But the curse was insidious, and the blood-stained gold wrought a change in Fafnir far more profound than mere moral corruption. His body swelled and contorted, his skin hardened into scales, and his mind was filled with the fire of a dragon's wrath. Fafnir had become the very embodiment of his greed, a monstrous dragon, a guardian of the glittering hoard that had ensnared his soul. He fled from the world of dwarves and men, seeking solitude in the wilderness where he could brood over his treasure. There, amidst the desolate heaths and the whispering pines, Fafnir lay upon his gold, his thoughts as impenetrable as the mountain stone, his heart as cold as the deepest mine. The legend of Fafnir spread far and wide, a cautionary tale of the ruin that gold could bring. But, as is the way of legends, it also sowed the seeds of adventure, for there were those who heard not a warning, but a challenge, a call to heroism that would echo through the ages. Among them was a young man named Sigurd, whose destiny was to cross paths with the dragon and to carve his own name into the annals of the sagas. But that is a tale for another time. For now, the dragon Fafnir lay in wait, the cursed gold beneath him, and the world held its breath, watching the shadow of his wings upon the land. Chapter 2. The Prophecy of Regeneration. In the aftermath of Fafnir's transformation and self-imposed exile, the world seemed to hold its breath, as if the very land awaited the next act in this dark drama. The tale of the dragon and his cursed treasure spread like wildfire, whispered in the mead halls and sung by skalds beneath the flickering torchlight. Yet, amidst the fear and fascination that gripped the hearts of men, there was one who watched with calculating eyes, Regan, the remaining son of Hridmar and brother to the beast. Regan, unlike his brutish brother, was a creature of cunning and craft, a master smith whose works were as intricate as the schemes he wove. He had escaped the dragon's wrath and the curse's immediate grasp, but the lure of the gold and the sting of betrayal gnawed at his spirit. He knew that Fafnir's hoard was vast, and within it lay the power to shape destinies. Regan also knew that he could not reclaim it alone. He needed a hero, a pawn in his game, to slay the dragon and retrieve the treasure. It was in this time of brooding and plotting that Regan came upon a prophecy, an ancient whisper from the Norns themselves, who weave the fates of all beings. The prophecy spoke of a time of regeneration, a period when the world would be cleansed of its darkness and reborn through the deeds of a noble soul. This soul, the prophecy foretold, would rise to face the corruption of the age, a hero who would slay the dragon and reclaim the cursed gold for a purpose yet unseen. Regan's mind raced with the implications of this prophecy. Could it be that the hero spoken of was none other than Sigurd, the son of Sigmund, whose lineage was as storied as the gods themselves? Sigurd, who had been fostered by Regan after the fall of his own father, was strong, brave, and pure of heart, the very embodiment of the hero foretold by the Norns. With a mixture of manipulation and genuine mentorship, Regan began to prepare Sigurd for the inevitable confrontation with Fafnir. He taught the young man the secrets of metal and fire, forging him a sword that could cleave the heavens, a blade named Gram, destined to become as legendary as its wielder. Regan filled Sigurd's mind with tales of glory and the righteousness of reclaiming the gold, all the while planting the seeds of vengeance against the dragon that had wronged them both. As Sigurd grew in skill and stature, so too did the shadow of his destiny loom ever larger. The prophecy of regeneration became his guiding star, a promise of renewal not just for himself, but for the world that lay under the pall of Fafnir's dark presence. Sigurd came to believe that it was his fate to confront the dragon, to right the wrongs of the past, and to bring forth a new era from the ashes of the old. And so, as the seasons turned and the wheel of fate spun inexorably onward, the stage was set for the clash of hero and dragon. The prophecy of regeneration, once a mere whisper among the echoes of fate, was now a clarion call that resonated in the heart of Sigurd. With Gram at his side and the fire of purpose in his soul, he set forth to face the dragon Fafnir, unaware of the full extent of Regan's machinations, but certain of his destiny to bring about the rebirth foretold by the Norns. The world watched, and the gods themselves leaned close, for the saga of Sigurd and Fafnir was to be a tale for the ages, a story of courage, betrayal, and the unyielding power of fate. In the hushed stillness of the dawn, where the mist clung to the earth like a shroud, Sigurd, son of Sigmund, stood resolute. The air was thick with destiny as he approached the lair of Fafnir, the dragon whose very breath was a poison that could wilt the life from all it touched. Sigurd, guided by the prophecy and the cunning of Regan, had devised a plan as clever as it was bold. He would not face the dragon in the glory of open combat, but from the sanctuary of a pit, dug deep in the dragon's path. As Fafnir slithered forth, the earth trembled beneath his weight, his eyes like molten gold, alight with avarice and ancient malice. Unseen, Sigurd waited, his heart a steady drumbeat, his grip upon Gram unwavering. The moment the beast passed overhead, Sigurd struck, driving the sword upward with the might of his lineage and the fury of his purpose. The blade found its mark, piercing the dragon's underbelly, the only chink in his impenetrable armor of scales. A roar shattered the silence, a sound of agony and rage that echoed through the valleys and struck fear into the hearts of distant men. But Sigurd held fast as the dragon thrashed, the cursed gold's guardian undone by the very greed that had transformed him. As Fafnir's lifeblood ebbed into the earth, he locked eyes with Sigurd, and in that gaze there was a recognition, a kindred spirit of sorts, both bound by fate's inexorable pull. With his dying breath, Fafnir whispered dark truths and secrets into Sigurd's ear, a final curse and a testament to the power of the gold that had been his undoing. And then, with a final shudder, the great beast lay still, the shadow of his wings fading with the rising sun. Sigurd emerged from the pit, not as a mere man, but as a hero of legend, his name forever entwined with that of the dragon he had slain. The prophecy of regeneration had come to pass, but the tale of Sigurd and Fafnir would live on, a saga of valor, vengeance, and the eternal dance of heroes and monsters.